Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. They say a drowning man will clutch at a straw. And I believe this is the fate of William Samoei Ruto and the current Embu governor, Cecil Mbarire. The two do not just want to accept that things have changed, people have moved on, and this is not 2022. I think the earlier and the faster they accept that people have moved on and people are done with the UDA, the better for them. Otherwise, they will find themselves doing some disparate things that they don't need to do. Apparently, the Manyatta MP Mukunji was arrested yesterday. And for those who watched my penultimate video, I gave you the prediction that Gashagua had made. I don't need to play that video, where Gashagua said that he had intelligence report that Cecil Mbarire had requested that Mukunji be arrested. And as you all know, Gashagua has now replaced Raila Amolo Odinga. In terms of credibility, if you ask Kenyans who do they trust between Raila Odinga and Gashagua, they will tell you they trust Gashagua because whenever he speaks on matters politics, Kenyan politics, they come to pass. And I also gave you clips of male residents who spoke at night, and they said they want Mukunji released unconditionally, or they will storm the streets because apparently Mukunji was arrested on allegations that he is sponsoring demonstrations. And the Embu residents were saying, okay, if you are inviting demonstrations, that we are in for it, we are coming. So today, two things happened. Apparently, Mukunji spent the night at Muthaiga police station. And today, the members wanted to see him because you never know with this government. They feel anything can happen because we have a government that is on a killing spree. So the people stormed the streets, and subsequently, Mukunji was bundled into some police car there and was taken to Kahawa locals. Let's begin by looking at the demonstrations that prompted the DCI to take him to court, because the residents never wanted the DCI to keep him for long. So take a look at this. So you can see Mukunji there. He was dressed, knowing very well that that place is cold. He was actually prepared. Maybe someone, took that jump or something to him. But ladies and gentlemen, why exactly is Mukunji being arrested? Because apart from what we are being told by the DCI, that he was sponsoring demonstrations, of course, I can't defend him. And the law provides that he is innocent until proven guilty. The burden of proof lies on the DCI. We are waiting for them to give us tangible evidence that Mukunji was sponsoring demonstrations. And once they do that, I want them to tell us who was sponsoring demonstrations in Homa Bay, in Uasin Gishu, in Nairobi. Let them also arrest all those who are sponsoring those demonstrations. I'm saying this because during the Azimio protests, we were told, I don't know, it was Uhuru Kenyatta, later the Ford Foundation, later, I don't know, quite a sort of things that were being told. So after they are done with Mukunji, let them arrest each and every person who is sponsoring all the demonstrations or trying to mastermind. Now, William Ruto and Cecil Mbarire, as I said, do not want to accept that things have changed. They say that the only thing that is constant in a man's life is change. And sometimes people live in denial. They don't want to accept that there are changes. They are playing local politics because Cecil Mbarire, just like William Ruto, has lost touch with the ground. In fact, I can assure you, can take this to the bank. There are several governors who will not see the light of day. People like Cecil Mbarire, Waiguru is lucky enough that she has done her 2 term, and I know she will switch camps to support Gashagua. Susan Kihika is not coming back. I'm telling you. Any governor, any senator, any member of parliament, any member of the county assembly who supported or supports, either directly or indirectly, the impeachment and the subsequent harassment of Gashagua will never be re-elected. So the Embu governor will not, and she understands that. And I've got a feeling that they are now trying to intimidate Mukunji, because I understand Mukunji has declared his interest in becoming the next governor of Embu. And I want us to read something here. Someone is trying to summarize why Mukunji is being arrested. And he says this, that while attending a meeting at State House, Governor Mbarire asked for help from President Ruto to tame Mukunji. Governor Mbarire sees Mukunji as a threat in the gubernatorial seat due to his rising popularity and overwhelming support in Embu, despite being a 3 years MP. Former MP John Mushiri was asked to look for Wazee to talk to Mukunji to join government. Governor Cecil Mbarire planned goons to disrupt Ruto's speech at Kigali if Mukunji would attend. Of course, I can't attest to that. I can't prove. I'm reading what someone has said. And it goes ahead to say that the state was bitter that MP Gitonga Mukunji didn't attend the Kigali church service, but instead chose to join over 10,000 Gen Zs for prayers. Number 6, the president tour was not well received after public torched a presidential motorcade vehicle that killed a 17-year-old girl, and that MP Mukunji has completely refused to join government that kills and abducts children. Of course, this is a person who supports Gashagua and supports Mukunji. But one thing I know that I can attest to is that the government feels bad that Mukunji is almost a thorn in the flesh. He's a very courageous member of parliament, and he has even dared the DCI or whoever to come for him. I played this video, but I want us to look at it once more. He's so daring, he even told them, I'm ready, come for me.
That have happened during the era of William Samoei Ruto. Sasa mimi nimeona jana Sudi ati akisema Mukunji ati atakamatwa. huyu Oscar Sudi mwenye alimalizia darasa la 3. Ati anataka kusema ati Mukunji ashikwe ndio atayarishe kushika Gashagua. Wewe Sudi umechelewa. Ita hao watu leo hapa, mimi niko hapa Runyenjes, wakuja wanikamate bana. Kuja. Leta hiyo watu bwana. Kwani unadhani sisi ni akina nani? Mimi bei ya uoga sijui. Hata pesa ya kununua uoga sina kwa sababu economy ni mbaya. Wewe Sudi wewe, unaongeanga mingi. Wewe umemislead rais sahi amekuwa less than 9% popular in the whole country. Less than 9% popular. Mtu alikuwa karibu 99% popular wakati tulikuwa tunachagua yeye. Umereduce yeye kwa sababu ya hiyo akili yako ya standard 3. Amekuwa the most unpopular president ever in this country. Na unadhani ati tutanunua yoga? Wewe kujia sisi. Kujia sisi tuko tayari. Kwani nyinyi mko tayari? Si mko tayari? Wangapi wako tayari kukuja kukamatwa? Kuja shika sisi zote. Kwani polisi wanakuwa na nini? Si ni pingu tu. Si wanafunga mtu hivi. Unakamata unapelekwa hivi. Bora msiguze watoto yetu na msijaribu kutufinya sisi sehemu nyeti. Hiyo maneno mengine tuko sawa.
So I think they're also doing that, responding to his calls, because he's making the government, you know, he makes the government looks like a lame duck kind of authority, because he dared them. Now the government had to go for him. And I'm saying this because I do not have any proof or any otherwise that he sponsored goons, that he sponsored demonstrations. I'm also saying this because I know this is not the first time we've had the government come up with charges or allegations. There was the container of blood, we were told by Ruto and Tumbi. I mean, several things that they can't prove. So he dared them, and they had to come to save their face, because the government does not want people who dare them. Otherwise, they will look seriously weak. The final thing, and I know could be the ultimate one, is that these people are going round and round to find a way. They are still testing waters, and they want to reach Rigathi Gashagua. They are attempting to arrest him. There have been calls all over that Rigathi should be arrested. You remember how the majority leader was telling us, that is Kimani Ichung'wah, that Rigathi Gashagua is a dark man, I don't know, a black man with a dark heart, something of the sort. UNEDITED Mohammed called for his arrest, immediately said that election should not be rigged. So I know finally they want to arrest Rigathi Gashagua. But let me tell you this, Rigathi will not be arrested. I dare say that. I've got the audacity of saying that Rigathi will not be arrested. The audacity that the government lacks to arrest Rigathi Gashagua. They cannot. You touch him, the country will blow up. Why? There is no any reason for arresting Rigathi Gashagua. For example, how can you arrest Rigathi for saying that the country will go to flames if you rig elections? Does it mean that you are planning to rig? Rigathi is the face of opposition. You do that, Natembeya with these people, Kalonzo with these people, Matiang'i with these people, they will come and they will demonstrate. And you know what that means. But ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto should understand and accept that Mount Kenya is not with him. Sikia ile msemo ya kwamba unaachana na kitu vile uliachana na titi la mama. That is what they have done. They have nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with William Ruto. They are the people who helped William Ruto ascend to power, and for reasons that are best known to them, they have decided that Ruto is no more to them. There is no amount of intimidation. There is no amount of any exercise that will change the minds of Mount Kenya people. Of course, I know that in politics, there are no permanent enemies nor permanent friends. But as we speak today, things have changed, and William Ruto should stop all these kind of intimidations. If at all Mukunji has become a thorn in the flesh and is the major competitor to Cecil Mbarire in the upcoming gubernatorial election, then they are even giving him impetus and weight. The more you arrest someone, the more you create a hero in him. Because Mukunji seems to be a very courageous man, and the government is adding him weight. Cecil Mbarire must look for something else. In fact, Cecil, Kimani Chungwa, all that group, they will not see the light of day. And that's why I'm saying that a drowning man clutches at a straw. Wakati unazama kwa maji, tataka kushika anything that you feel can help you. Disparate times calls for, disparate solutions. The Embu people are saying, we want you to release our man. Release him unconditionally. And William Ruto seems to be never tired of sending the police to battle, demonstrators. I'm waiting to see the charges, and I'm waiting to see if there is any proof beyond reasonable doubt that Mukunji was part and parcel of the mastermind of demonstrations. Are you telling me that Kenyans are not suffering? Are you telling me that Gen Zs do not have their brains to understand that there's a way they want things to work, and if those things are not working, they know they can express their anger in ways that are established in the Constitution? Are you telling me that if people go to the street, that it only means that they've been sponsored by someone? Let us stop burying our heads in the sand like the proverbial ostrich. Let the government of the day act. Otherwise, it will be too late for them. They can intimidate now. But I keep on saying that if the opposition plays its card well, then come 2027, very early in the morning, asubuhi na mapema, William Ruto will be a one-term president. I can assure you. He will. As long as the opposition, and let me just not even talk of the opposition, as long as Gen Zs will rise up to turn all this anger into voting, and they place all their votes in one basket, William Ruto will be a one-term president. So Meru is in flames, Embu, and they're saying a luta continua. They want their person to be released. Let me tell you, have they not gone to the street? Have they not started, giving warnings as early as yesterday? Mukunji would have not been released. He wouldn't have been taken to court. Bado wangekuwa wanazunguka na yeye. And it has been the modus operandi that if you do not fight for your man or woman as a people, atazungushwa, hataachiliwa. I don't know what you think. But if this is local politics, then wachane nayo. Embu is gone, Meru is gone, Tharaka is gone. All the counties in Mount Kenya are gone. If there is one thing that I must add though, we don't support goons. And if Gen Zs would want to go to the street, let them conduct themselves with decorum. I also understand that there could be some hidden hand of people who are being paid to go and cause chaos, mayhem, loot, so that it can be blamed on Gen Zs, on Rigathi Gashagua, because now they have decided that Gashagua is the father of demonstrations. Ladies and gentlemen, aluta continua. There is nothing that will deter people from speaking, from picketing, from demanding for their rights, for demanding for good governance. You can't stop an idea whose time has come.